For 2021, we're looking to continue our fantastic run from last year. We now have the belief that anything is possible, and we believe with both our riders, especially with Frankie and Valentino, we can continue to fight for the championship. We were very close to it last year, and we believe that if we can resolve our problems with the bike, we should be able to really fight for the championship, and especially the top independent team category class and riders. What we learned from 2020 is it's all about consistency. Last year we either achieved very well podiums and we lose the race very badly. There's no middle ground, so we need to find a better average, a better consistency throughout the year from race one, because that's the only way for you to maintain your performance and maintain your standings in the World Championship, and ultimately try to win the World Championship at the end of this year. So consistency is key, and we have to make sure that both our riders, every weekend from Friday to race day Sunday, that they are on top of their game and always be there in the top 5 at least, and be constantly in the podium with that consistency to win the championship. We are still being affected by COVID-19 for this year, although we hope that as we go later in the year, the situation will get better. Already we have seen the winter test in Sepang being cancelled, the test in Jerez being also cancelled to Qatar. So far the calendar remains the same, but we hope that everything will go ahead as planned. But this doesn't mean that we are not able to deliver what our sponsors want. I think we have learned a lot last year with the restrictions in the paddock, with no guests. We have come up with a lot of creative ideas for our sponsors, exclusively for our sponsors, and we will continue to do that until the paddock is more open and safe for more guests to attend. So there are quite a number of things that we have planned for this year, learning from last year, and we hope that our sponsors are happy with it, and we thank them again for supporting us, especially last year and this year, where the pandemic is still ongoing, and we sincerely thank them for their support and commitment to the team. Well, I think the target for Frankie and Valentino is very clear. I think both of them are extremely competitive riders. They want to win, they want to be regular podium winners, and ultimately to be world champion. I think Frankie has the desire to do that. He was very close to become very close to become champion last year by coming second in the World Championship, and I think he wants to continue and do his best to win the championship. For Vale, it's a totally different situation, and he's tried to win his 10th World Championship in our team. We will help him and support him all we can to ensure that he is there amongst all the other riders, regular podium contenders, and ultimately try to fight for the World Championship. We are very excited to work much more closer with Valentino. We only had a couple of discussion and meetings before the end of last year. Of course, with the current situation, with pandemic, travel restrictions are all in place, we were not able to see face to face. We managed to coordinate when it comes to the virtual launch, that's all. But we look forward for the first race, beginning with the first test in Qatar, and then we'll gauge how the working relationship will be this year. It's something that we will have to learn very fast, not only for the team but for Valentino as well. Something that he needs to get used to it, and we also will have to get used to how he works. But we look forward to it. I think it's going to be an exciting times and year for us, and I'm pretty confident that we will do well, both of us. Last year, Moto2 team, the riders did relatively well. We had podium positions, we led a few races. Jake Dixon, a rider that totally caught us by surprise, did really well. And I think this year is the year that a moment of truth for both riders, especially with Xavi, who has spent a couple of years in Moto2. I think it's his desire to really try to win the World Championship and score the first podiums for the team. And that goes without saying, same for Jake Dixon as well. If he can continue his run like he did last year, I'm sure that he can be regular podiums as well. Probably a little bit of setback with his injury, but I'm sure he has spent a lot of time rehabilitating that over the winter season and come back stronger come Qatar first race and fight for the championship as well. It's a year of reckoning for John McPhee. This is his last eligible year to race in Moto3, and I'm sure that his ambition and desire to go to Moto2 next year, and hence he needs to do well this year and to really get that elusive Moto3 World Championship crown. I think that is the key motivation for him, and we as a team will do all we can to make sure that he remains focused, give him all the support that he can to achieve his target. Of course, he has young Darren Binder to push him, and of course Darren Binder also has his own agenda of to do well, and he wants to go to the Moto2 step as much as possible. So at the end of the day, both riders are strong on paper, they are strong riders individually, they can push each other. The most important thing is from Friday to qualifying is for them to work together because race day is race day, but I think both riders can push themselves to the limit and ultimately try to fight for the World Championship without causing any trouble to each other. Well, a successful 2021 would be to win the World Championship, and if you look on paper, we have the ability to do that in all categories, and maybe that is our top priority or top target per se, is to try to win the World Championship in MotoGP or Moto2 and Moto3. I mean, we are here to win races. However, I think a special weekend will be if we are able to win in a single weekend all our categories of MotoGP, Moto2 and Moto3. I think that would be nice. So let's see. Having riders like Valentino Rossi, Frankie Morbidelli, to some extent Jake Dixon, Xavi Vierge, John McPhee and Darren Binder should provide some kind of mentoring to the young Malaysian riders that we're trying to develop. We will organize some kind of programs, especially during the Malaysian MotoGP, where we'll engage the young riders that we are developing with our GP riders so that they can learn more on the ways of being a world champion or a professional racer. I think a lot of Malaysian talent out there look up to these riders, especially these riders are in a Malaysian team like ours. I'm sure they can learn from them, and we will provide that platform for them to learn from the riders in terms of training, diet, food, advice and whatnot. So I think it can help, and we will take advantage of that and to ensure that these riders share their experience